Now at 5 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, Houston police are searching for the driver involved in a fatal hit and run that killed a postal worker Saturday. And a teen in Connecticut is in critical condition after shooting himself in the head with an unsecured handgun. Plus, border authorities report unlawful border crossings hit the highest this year, with over 200,000 arrests in September.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's a new week, and guess what? It's a big change in your weather as winter returns to Texas. We're looking at heavy rain, not only today, but for the next 4 or 5 days. So find your umbrella and maybe even your jacket. We'll have all that coming up right now.
City leaders in San Antonio are pushing for hundreds of homeless camp cleanups due to a new budget taking effect. You're watching 25 News now at 5. Good afternoon and thanks for being with us. I'm Karina Garcia. James Munoz has the day off. Police in Houston are looking for a hit-and-run driver involved in a crash that killed a postal worker. This happened Saturday. Investigators say the driver of a Ford Expedition clipped the corner of the postal truck, sending the vehicle into a ditch. The postal worker was thrown from the vehicle and his truck hit him. Witnesses came to the postal worker's aid, but he died on the way to the hospital. Police say the Expedition driver drove off and they are now trying to find that person. 25-year-old Demetrius Jeffries of Victoria pleaded guilty for his role in a robbery and was sentenced to 15 years in prison. The robbery took place March 15th at an illegal gambling venue located in the 2500 block of North Lorenz Street. Jeffries also admitted his affiliation with a local criminal street gang and voluntarily waived any rights to pursue an appeal. Criminal charges against 2 of Jeffries' co-defendants connected to the robberies are still waiting resolution. A 14-year-old Connecticut boy is in critical condition after accidentally shooting himself in the head. Police say the teen found the gun in the adult bedroom and a home he shared with his mother and grandparents. He was playing with the gun alone when it went off. Sometime later, his grandmother came home and found him and then called 911. Investigators found 23 firearms in total at this home. Only 2 or 3 of them were stored properly.
Our initial investigation has revealed that the boy accessed an unsecured .22 caliber revolver from within the residence while home alone. The boy proceeded to play with the firearm, during which time a shot was discharged, striking the boy in the head. The discharge appears to be accidental.
Connecticut has a state law that requires all guns to be stored safely. Watertown police say that law may come into play in this case. And now let's take a look at your forecast with Chief Meteorologist Mac Bettis. Mac, we have some exciting weather news today, don't we?
You bet, and it's the one you've been waiting for a long time. All of us has been waiting for it. The season has now officially changed, folks. We promised this to you last week, and this is the week that it happens. While we had a pretty nice day here, we've already had some pretty heavy rain down south. It starts at Corpus Christi, goes up to San Antonio, and all the way up into the hill country. But that's only the beginning. As the severe weather is out in West Texas, the frontal system will come through. You might need a jacket by the time we get to the weekend. How about that? We'll talk more about it coming up in a moment. Stay tuned.
A new surge of migrants reached the highest total this year. Border Patrol apprehended more than 200,000 migrants crossing the border from Mexico into the U.S. Homeland Security authorities report that's up from 181,000 the previous month and marks the largest number of crossings and arrests this year. This new surge of migrants is straining federal resources and the cities trying to house them. Those concerns are likely to be a topic during the yearly U.S.-Mexico security talks later this week. Homelessness has doubled in the city of Victoria. The Homeless Coalition of the Golden Crescent plans to work with the city to stop homelessness in the community. 25 News Now reporter Adarius McCormick has more.
The city of Victoria houses more than 65,000 people. As this community experiences population growth, there's a growing amount of people facing homelessness in this area. The Homelessness Coalition of the Golden Crescent collected homeless count numbers recently. The number has more than doubled in the past 5 years, and the count only includes people seen by the coalition. The City of Victoria's CDBG 2023-2024 one-year action plan will provide funding to local nonprofits fighting homelessness. Two of these organizations are Mid-Coast Family Services and the Salvation Army. Mid-Coast Family Services CEO Jeannie Stafford says there is no competition with the Salvation Army. They work together indirectly.
You know, there's just enough homeless people on the street, and there's enough misery to go around that we don't compete with them, they don't compete with us. There's just work for both of us.
She says the main issue for homelessness in Victoria is poverty.
Unfortunately, what we know right now is that one income won't hardly pay the rent, and pay for the gas, and pay for the groceries, and pay for daycare, and pay for school supplies, and all those things. So something has to give.
According to Salvation Army's Captain Kenny Jones, spirituality impacts homelessness in the area.
As our world is aging, we're focusing less and less on the spiritual side of our being, and we're finding it harder and harder to sustain a good quality of life.
Both nonprofits plan to create a forum for these people to hit a reset button. The Salvation Army is opening the Life Enrichment Center to help out with the homelessness in Victoria.
If you give somebody the tools that they need and the encouragement that they need, I think that being able to turn somebody from homelessness into a situation where they're independent is not far-fetched.
With the help of the city, these organizations plan to end homelessness in Victoria. Captain Kenny Jones says the goal is to work until he does not have a job, which means everyone will be sheltered, happy, and flourishing. Reporting in Victoria, I'm Adarius McCormick, KAVU TV 25 News Now.
Here's your Veer poll this afternoon. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. The question is, how would you describe the level of homelessness in your city? Is it non-existent, low, average, high, or very high? We want to hear your opinion on this. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we're going to have an update later on 25 News Now at 6. Fire crews battled a large fire at a vacant apartment complex in south central El Paso Sunday night. Crews were called out to the apartment complex around 7 p.m. 18 fire units and 55 fire crews were on scene to battle the blaze. They were able to contain the fire by 9 p.m. Authorities reported nearby buildings escaped damage and no injuries were reported. City leaders in San Antonio are pushing to clean up homeless camps. A new budget went into effect, giving the city more money to clear out encampments for the unhoused people.
Y'all are scheduled for the 11th.
A warning Pete Barrera is familiar with.
So you got at least about 2 weeks for the assessment and then the 48 hours.
As the outreach manager at Haven for Hope,
The 11th is assessment, on the 13th they clean up.
Barrera says helping spread the word about encampment cleanups to those without housing is one of his top priorities.
They've been increasing for a while.
The city just cleaned up this area in the 600 block of Croft Trace just a few days ago. And you can't see it from this angle, but people have already started to move back. This year, the city's looking to clean up 500 sites, but that number is going to jump next year with budget increases to 700.
We had a big improvement from the year before, and we're going to continue improving on that.
San Antonio's Solid Waste Management Department is following the direction of City Council and the city manager. Now, with the start of October, the city is trying to clean up encampments within 2 weeks of getting an initial call.
We're doing it in drainage ditches, wooded areas, you name it, to wherever there's a homeless encampment, our crews go in there and clean it up.
The city says outreach and an assessment happen before an abatement. With the schedule already packed for the coming weeks, some locations are becoming regular stops.
Like Hay Street Bridge, you got off of Fredericksburg Road, Austin Highway, there's some repeat encampments that we go by there regularly.
We tried to talk to some of those people impacted, but no one we spoke with wanted to go on camera. One man did say he's lived in the same camp for a couple of months, and he's had to deal with a few cleanups himself.
Since I've been here 2 times.
Yeah. Some might leave, some might take it serious, others, like I said, if they've been through it before, they know how it works.
Barrera says he still makes an effort to get the message out.
Meet them where they're at, no matter where they're at.
Hoping to help those in his community, even if they're not ready to go to Haven yet.
October 1st through the 7th declared 4-H Club Week in Victoria County, all to honor an organization that teaches young people the benefits of leadership, life skills, and economic development through agriculture. The members of the Victoria 4-H Club honored during this morning's County Commissioner's Court and were presented with a proclamation honoring the positive impact the club has brought to the area. If you would like to know more about the 4-H Club, contact the Texas A&M ArgLife Extension Office in Victoria at 361-575-4581. And if you like to travel and want free airline tickets, Victoria Regional Airport may be able to help. Lenny Lorena, manager of the Victoria Regional Airport, met with county commissioners this morning asking to add the spouses to the already in place promotion that allows county employees to fly round trip to Houston at no cost. He says that not only was his original request granted, but now even more Victoria citizens can take part in this promotion.
So this adds the county employee and their spouses possibilities to fly from here to Houston and back. Commissioners Court went a little farther and extended this commitment to also the city employees and their spouses.
For more information on this promotion and other promotions the airport is offering, go to flyvictoriatx.com, and keep in mind there is only so much money set aside for these promotions, so don't wait to put in your request. The Texas Tribune has this article: one neighborhood in Liberty County is slowly being abandoned, and years of flooding and intense rains prompted a spiral of decline. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click that notification bell. For now, stay with us. Straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5. Former President Donald Trump's civil trial has begun in Manhattan today. Also ahead in New York, the search for a missing 9-year-old girl intensifies. Former President Donald Trump is in New York City for his civil fraud trial. New York Attorney General Letitia James brought a lawsuit against Trump claiming he and his adult sons engaged in fraud. James says Trump lied about his net worth for his financial benefit. Among the claims he faces are falsifying business records and issuing false financial statements. Both sides chose to have a bench trial, which means there will be no jury and that all rulings will be made by the judge. The search for a missing 9-year-old girl who police say was abducted in New York has intensified. Her family is asking the public for help.
Massive search efforts in upstate New York for 9-year-old Charlotte Senna, who vanished while riding her bike with friends Saturday night. She went for one last loop by herself, and that's when what was supposed to be a picture-perfect, fun-filled family weekend at Moreau Lake State Park may have turned sinister.
Her parents knew immediately something was up. They called her name. People started searching.
She is a blonde, adorable little 9-year-old girl with bangs. She has green eyes, just under 5 feet tall, and she is just a sweet, adorable girl.
According to the Amber Alert issued on her disappearance, she may be in imminent danger of serious harm or death.
We felt after that exhaustive search, when we couldn't find her here, it was quite possible that an abduction had taken place. She was last seen wearing an orange tie-dye Pokemon shirt, dark blue pants, black Crocs, and a gray bike helmet.
Charlotte's family says no tips sent in is insignificant. New York's governor says they are leaving no stone unturned in their search.
I promised her parents we'll find her daughter. She's all of our daughters. Their family needs love. They need prayers.
I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
The Kansas police chief who led a highly criticized raid of a small Kansas newspaper was suspended. Marion's mayor suspended police chief Gideon Cody late last week. His suspension is a reversal for the mayor, who previously said he would wait for results from a state police investigation before taking action. The August 11th raid of the newspaper's office came after a restaurant owner accused the paper of illegally accessing information about her driving record. Respiratory viruses cases start rising in October before peaking between December and February. This season, the U.S. is facing another shortfall in a common antibiotic to help treat bacterial infections that may happen when a child is sick.
It's the most prescribed antibiotic in the U.S., but for the second winter in a row, liquid amoxicillin is in short supply.
Unfortunately, this is not the first time we've been through this.
Dr. Nusheen Aminuddin with Mayo Clinic says most illnesses in fall and winter are caused by viruses, which won't respond to antibiotics. Amoxicillin and other similar medications fight secondary infections caused by bacteria.
There are alternatives that we can use in almost all cases. And so it's not like we're going into this with absolutely no options.
Amoxicillin powder remains on the U.S. Food and Drug Administration shortage list. It's mixed to make the liquid form and given to young children who aren't able to swallow pills. The shortfall was first declared by the FDA last October. Since amoxicillin pills and tablets are not in short supply, Aminuddin says some pediatricians may use those instead.
We can maybe crush a tablet and give that to a child so they get the same amount of the medication that can then be mixed into like a teaspoonful of a food that they might be willing to eat.
And there are other antibiotics as well that can be used to treat a child suffering from illnesses like pneumonia or an ear infection.
Sometimes they're a little stronger, sometimes they might cause more side effects. And so that's why amoxicillin has been a go-to for us for many decades. But we do have other options if your child needs antibiotic treatment.
For Health Minute, I'm Andy Gaither.
France is taking action to battle the reported rise of bed bugs in Paris. Transportation leaders are dealing with reports of bed bugs on public trains, but they say there were no proven cases of bed bug sightings recently. The French transport minister is expected to meet this week with operators to discuss the issue. The concern about bed bugs comes as Paris gets ready to host the 2024 Olympic Games.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is it. This is the big week. Everything changes. All that summer that you saw, it's over. And I promised it you last week, and here it is. It was a quiet day for us. However, not far away, we were getting some fairly heavy rain from Corpus Christi up to about San Antonio. You can see how big thunderstorms just beginning to move northbound. They'll be rolling all the way into the hill country because we're getting this big, strong southeast wind in advance of the big storm. There's some real heavy stuff down there near Laredo. We'll be talking all about what to expect because we got heavy rain in the forecast. All that coming up in a moment. Okay, everybody, you were waiting for it, the big change in the weather pattern, and it is here this week. You're really going to like this forecast. Well, some of you will complain, I'm sure. While it was a fairly quiet day over Victoria County, we did get a few lingering light showers, but the heavy stuff was actually down south from Corpus Christi northbound. This big tongue of tropical moisture is drifting northbound, and you can see it moving in that direction. So it's headed toward the hill country, but why is it moving in that direction? Well, right about here, we've got a powerful winter storm. Yeah, a winter storm. In fact, this is going to be an abrupt change. I'm talking going from first gear to third gear dramatically as our weather pattern has changed over North America. We already have the possibility of getting some severe weather up in North Texas and into New Mexico already. In fact, they have severe weather possibilities for eastern New Mexico and parts of the Panhandle, and that would be for tonight. Now for tomorrow, we're going to be looking at an increase in shower activity because all that stuff that was in the Gulf, well, more of it headed in our direction. Today is our high temperatures, well, only about 93, that's not bad. 91 in Abilene and in the 80s throughout New Mexico because it's been raining all day long. Tomorrow's high, I'm just gonna go with it, folks. I'm not gonna call it 90, I'm gonna call it 89, okay? We're gonna go 89 with increasing clouds and shower activity on Tuesday, all right? So then what happens after that? Well, we wait for the front. When does it get here? We start on Monday, big storm in the Rockies. Frontal system starts pushing Tuesday. Wednesday, it starts getting into Texas, and you'll see the big storms fire out here on Wednesday. If you have family or interest headed north, we're going to be looking at big stuff over there. And then on Thursday morning, the frontal system should pass through our area with a gusty north wind. That's when we have a good possibility for some significant rainfall as the front comes through. And then it sort of parks itself down off the coast, so continuing shower activity until this little front comes through and gives us some drier air as we get to the weekend. So this is big. This is as big as it gets because it's a complete pattern change. The storm that you see it here, it starts here. Okay, it rolls across with snow in the Rockies, and then rolls. May not have much snow for the Midwest, but it will be cold. It'll be very windy and very wet for that area of the world. You can see the storm sort of parks itself over the Great Lakes. So tonight we're looking for a low tomorrow morning. It's 79 in the Port Lavaca area, only getting up to 89 degrees. And tomorrow in Cuero, we start off at 75. We're looking for shower activity to develop, only a high of 90 degrees. And so when does it get here? It's going to take a couple of days, but I already went ahead and put you an alert day here for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, okay? Showers begin tomorrow. You'll get wet. Some of you will get wet. Most of you will get wet on Wednesday or Thursday. I mean, it's widespread. 1 to 2 inches of rain out of this thing. It decreases on Friday, and the not cold, but brisk north wind will be blowing. And Saturday and Sunday, our high temperatures barely in the 80s and our lows getting down into the mid 60s. Sounds good, doesn't it? That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that and put Crossroads today, and I'll tell you about all the cold weather headed in our direction. Karina, back to you.
Mac, thank you. Coming up next on 25 News Now at 5, we'll take a look at your stocks. Plus, Tesla sales have dropped in the third quarter. Taking a look at your stocks, the Dow down 75 points, the S&P 500 up 0 points, and the Nasdaq gaining 89 points. Oil down $1.97, closing at $88.82 a barrel. Tesla reported it delivered 435,000 vehicles last quarter, down from both the 466,000 it delivered the previous quarter and 26,000 less than analysts were expecting this time around. Tesla was cutting prices on vehicles to reach aggressive growth rates. CEO Elon Musk says it's largely to battling rising interest rates, but the company also facing increased competition from other companies offering electric vehicles. A global rough diamond index reports that diamonds are the cheapest they've been in a year. The slump follows an all-time high demand for natural diamonds during the pandemic. Still, don't expect lower prices at the jewelry store. Retailers tend to keep those fairly steady, even when the cost of rough diamonds drops. Stay with us. We'll take one last look at your forecast with MAC. Plus, a local elementary school comes up with a unique way to recognize Bullying Awareness Week. Plus, here's a look at world news tonight, right after 25 News Now at 5.
This week, how many more times will families have to face the threat of a shutdown? Plus, former President Trump faces fraud charges in New York. The civil trial begins. More Americans turn to the most watched program on television. World News Tonight with David Muir.
Came up with a unique way to recognize Bullying Awareness Month. World-renowned bull trainer Dennis Davis brought 3 of his own bulls, inside cages of course, to Hopkins Elementary this morning in order to leave the bullying to the bulls and not with your classmates.
The purpose here is to bring the children out so they can see the bulls, and since it's bully prevention or bully awareness month, and we have a slogan, it's like leave the bullying to the bulls. So when the kids are out here looking at the bulls and we're talking about the bulls, we always pass it by them, leave the bullying to the bulls.
After viewing the bulls, each student signed a pledge saying that they will leave the bullying to the bulls from now on. What a cute way
it's a cute
to address
idea.
a serious issue.
And they're a whole lot bigger than you are, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, leave the bullying to the bulls because, well,
they're
bulls.
They're probably about 1,000 to 1,500 pounds. So yeah, let them do it. That's what they're for.
Well, Mac, what I'm most excited about is that I get to bring out the coat out this weekend.
Okay, maybe not be frigid, but this is a big change in our weather, and certainly a far cry from where we were a month ago, folks. We've got a significant Pacific storm that's going to be rolling across the country. It brings us first very heavy rain or significant rainfall. Wednesday, Thursday. By Friday, we may be a little on the soggy side as the front comes through, but there'll be a gusty north wind behind it and a drier air mass over the weekend. So we'll be down to 63 on Sunday morning. And I was looking at the records, and I can't find the last time we were at 63. I'm already back to about 1905, and so I don't know when that was. But we are looking at some cool, chilly north winds, and sunshine over the day on Sunday will actually warm us up to about 80 degrees. So yeah, this is a significant pattern change. The dome of doom is finally gone, and now we're going to. Let me be. For a storm this strong, this early in the season, it gives me pause to think about this. Are they going to be like this all year long? So we're going to watch and wait, but this is a good change for us.
That's right. Well, thank you, Mac, and thank you for being with us. We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 6. World News Tonight with David Muir is up next.